Now, number 22 overall, the Minnesota Vikings drafted Justin Jefferson, the receiver out of LSU. I love him. He's got a ton of body control. He's really good at adjusting to the ball in the air. Great receiver, good pick. I like it. But I am curious, how does Justin Jefferson fit with the Vikings? And the Vikings now have two guys who can play inside, at least usually play inside. They have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. How is he going to fit into their offense when they have two guys who play inside traditionally? Do they move guys? Do they move one of the two? Do they move Justin Jefferson out wide? Do they move Adam Thielen out wide? How's that going to work? I have no idea. But I will say that Justin Jefferson is criminally underrated. He's a great receiver. The Vikings got a good one for sure. But a really interesting tidbit about this is that, remember, the way that the Vikings got the 22nd overall pick was they traded Stephon Diggs away to the Buffalo Bills. And they traded Stephon Diggs away for the 22nd overall pick and went right around and drafted a receiver with the 22nd overall pick. Kind of interesting. It's clear to me that they knew they needed a receiver after getting rid of Stephon Diggs. And did they really, is Jordan Jefferson really better than Stephon Diggs? Number one, that's a big question. And number two, it seems like the Vikings simply just didn't want Stephon Diggs in their locker room. It's not that Stephon Diggs couldn't play. It's not that they didn't need a receiver. It's that the Vikings didn't want Stephon Diggs around. Now, to me, the reason is because if you paid attention last year, Stephon Diggs very subtly called out the head coach Mike Zimmer and his love of running the football. I think that's the reason why Stephon Diggs is no longer there. But it's just very, very interesting. Again, you had Stephon Diggs, traded him away for the 22nd overall pick, then used that 22nd overall pick to draft another receiver. That's just a message, hey, we don't want Stephon Diggs around. Now, number 31 overall, the Vikings drafted corner Jeff Gladney from TCU. I remember watching, he's a great all-around corner. I remember watching, when I watched Jalen Hurts play TCU, I watched Gladney make a couple plays. The Vikings needed a corner, and they needed a guy who's really versatile, a guy who could play in the slot, a guy who could play press, a guy who could back off, a guy that could move around all over the field. And I think this is a great move for the Vikings' defensive schemes. It's a great move for Mike Zimmer. When I look at what the Vikings did, they had two picks, and they got exactly what they needed. They got a corner who fit their need, who fit their style of play, and they got a receiver, which is what they needed after getting rid of Stephon Diggs. So 2 picks in the first round for the Vikings, 2 players that they really needed and 2 positions that they needed. I think it's well done, and good job by the Minnesota Vikings. In case you don't know, Strong Opinion Sports is not just a YouTube channel. It is also a full audio podcast. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play, pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. And if you like podcasts, please do me a huge favor and give it a listen.